the criminal trial, we proved that there was a very good chance that there was abuse by Jeff Rubenstein, the father. Right. And my attorney, my criminal attorney, Gil Shasha, he said, okay, let's get into family court now. We did this, we found it, we've got all this evidence, all this information. This should not be a problem. But it was.
And you have
Well, first of all, because family court did not want to hear anything. They have refused since 2003 to hear anything about the abuse. The Waterford police, the state police, the guardian ad litem, the lawyers, Randy's a lawyer, Lori Hellam, no one has come to me and spoken to me. No one has come to me and found the documents, legal documents that I have showing the abuse. No one has come to me. I have videotaped therapy sessions of Randy outlining, drawing, and speaking in detail, in horrific detail, of what his father did. I still have all this, and there's not one person in the system that has come to get it and do an investigation.
That's it. And the bottom line is, you have no contact.
And I have not had any contact whatsoever with my son since 2005 now.
And this is really one of the things that underlies this that bothers me more than anything, okay? Because I've read the documents that say that you're supposed to have visitation.
We went, in 2005, we decided to get out of family court and try just a, let's say, quote-unquote, normal mediation.
Okay.
Because there was no reason not to. So we went in and we did mediation with a retired judge comes in and does it. And we came to the first step of an agreement of how we were going to move back to normalcy. Normal visits, seeing him a couple times a week, having nightly phone calls, going to all the events, going to school, going to baseball games, whatever the case may be, moving into normal custody again. We worked for days, worked on this agreement. I think I told you once before that I found myself kind of between a rock and a hard place, because there were some parts of the agreement that I didn't like, but I signed it anyway, because if I didn't sign it, it would look like the most important thing wasn't seeing my son, although some pieces of the agreement were not in mine or his best interest. But as soon as that agreement was signed, nobody followed it. That was the end of it. That was the last time I saw my son. The agreement was signed. My ex and his brother got custody. It's supposed to be temporary. Now, my ex-husband still never did have custody. When we came back here back in 2002 and I was arrested, custody never went back to the father. He wasn't even allowed to see him for the first couple months, which would make you wonder right away what people were worried about, because that never happens.
The visitation is my...
It's the biggest concern, yeah.
Is my well, no, it isn't. I mean, well, the whole process is a concern of what happens. Okay, that we found, and depending on the court you go, how you're treated, what's happening. I'm going through a situation now.
Do they like you? Don't they like you?
They're crossing, they're dotting the I's and crossing the T's and stuff because of I believe because we're right on it. We're right on. I believe they know that they're totally being watched. That we have some stuff from the father, which doesn't look well for the. We have abuse involved in this one.
Well, you have abuse involved in that as well. Yeah.
But
different. It's a different situation.
It's a different situation.
But even in my situation, I've gone to attorneys out of town where mine and my son's civil and constitutional rights have been so extremely violated by the judge's orders.
Well, you have no visitation. You haven't had visitation.
I haven't had any contact, not even a school record or a medical record since 2005.
And you have not lost your parental rights.
Well, theoretically they have. No, but not legally.
No, I'm talking about legally.
No.
There is no loss of
parental rights, none.
Right.
No.
So legally, you've got no loss of parental rights, but they have got your son in a situation where you have not seen him and.
But not even just that. Even when I've tried to get back into court to have the orders enforced, to have contempt, orders pushed because they're not following it. From 2005, it took me until April 2008 to actually get back into court just to have the orders heard and enforced, just to have someone, a judge, say, this is the agreement that all of you signed, you have to do it. But it wasn't done. Even the judge wouldn't enforce it. What happened was I got from 2005 to 2008, that's how long I was fighting to get back into court from that agreement. In April of 2008, I finally had a hearing, and the judge at the time, who was Judge Bolin, didn't want to hear anything, ordered that I needed to pay X amount of dollars to the court-appointed attorney and the court-appointed guardian ad litem before he would hear any of my motions, which is a violation of civil rights.
So you're talking about the court being a collection agency for attorneys and stuff
exactly.
like that. What does that have? That has nothing to do with the issue of visitation.
It has absolutely
access
nothing to do.
It has to do.
And court orders that weren't being followed. But all he said, he goes, I am not going to hear anything today. I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to hear testimony. I'm not going to hear anything. I want X amount paid to Lori Hellam, and I want X amount paid to Sue Connolly. I don't care how you get it. I don't care where you get it. I don't care if you have to take it off of your credit cards and go bankrupt. And we will be back here this is April of 08. We will come back in August of 08. And if those payments haven't been made by them, don't bother coming back.
And did you appeal? Was there an appeal to this?
Actually, no. We probably should have. But all I wanted to do was get back into it, because I know from having done appeals can take a year to 3 years to even be heard. And I wanted to be heard about my son.
So
I wanted to see my child.
So you chose to?
I chose to max out every credit card I had and go into bankruptcy to pay these attorneys as per the judge's orders.
Before?
Before I could be heard.
Okay, so you go bankrupt. Mm-hmm. You do what the judge says.
Right.
And
I finally get back into court in August of 08, and by now we're talking from 05 to 08, so only God knows what my son has been told.
So we got 3 years, basically.
And who knows what my son has been told about what's going on.
3 years of not seeing your child.
Not having any contact at all.
Any contact, no information.
No information.
Again, you still haven't lost any parental rights.
I haven't. And of course, at this point, it's also breaking my heart wondering what he's thinking during these 3 years. I don't know what he's being told.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
Of course, I'm thinking the worst.
All right.
So my ex-husband and his brother and the guardian ad litem stand up and tell the judge, they don't even talk to my son now, and they don't even bring in a psychologist, because we're trying to push for psychological intervention here. They get up and say, we don't want any of this. He doesn't want to see his mother. So nobody's going to ask him, and nobody's going to bring in psychological intervention, and nobody's going to order counseling like we agreed to.
This is
August of 08, and the judge says, okay.
This is in August of 08.
Yeah, and the judge says, okay.
So your baby was with you. It's not a baby anymore.
Yeah.
I was just gonna. Okay.
He's my baby. He'll be forever.
Okay. So your child was with you all the years up until 2000.
Well, in 2002 I was arrested, but I still saw him in 2002 and 3.
No, you saw him in 2000.
I still saw him all the time. So until 2005, when I never saw him again.
So 2005, up until 2005, you've got visitation. You're with your son, no matter what.
We talk, we play games, we see each other, we do all those things.
And everything's all right with mommy. And now, at 2005, this stops, and you have a 3-year interval, and then somebody comes in and says, no, he don't want to see his mommy anymore.
Right. Well, first of all, we know from many of us who have worked with children, even children in the most horrifically abusive situation, always want to see their mother, but we're talking, the judge won't even entertain. She says, I'm not going to entertain any motions about counseling and psychological intervention or anything like this. I don't want to hear it. I believe what Attorney Connolly and the father are telling me. I'm not going to, and that's it. And I am going to order you, write an order, that you are no longer allowed to file any more motions to see your son or have any contact with your son in this court.
And that's in?
Norwich.
And the year?
2008.
2008. 2008.
Right.
They signed a thing that says you can't appeal?
They signed, it was a written order per the judge.
That's
written order. You've seen that, right.
Yeah, the written order that says you're not
allowed to file any more motions regarding trying to see your child. Right.
I mean, this is...
Which is horrific, egregious. I mean, this is This is the United States court system. We are all allowed to file motions and be heard.
Well, yes,